Trump just announced stimulus checks round 2. We all know what happened whenever the last round of stimulus checks hit. Risk assets like crypto went absolutely ballistic. So in this video, I'm going to go over my thought process. How is this going to play out? Will it be a round 2 of the 2020-2021 pump that we got from this? And on top of that, which tokens in the market right now do I think are dirt cheap after all of the red we have seen for the last few weeks? So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
And before we dive into it, we'll make today's video short and sweet, but first and foremost, as always, like the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more every single week here on In the Game. We always have you covered, whether the market is bullish, bearish, to navigate throughout crypto. And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. We have some incredible sponsors here on the channel, from Gravity, 𝗧𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗃, as well as Blowfin. And right now, we did just update our offer with Blowfin. We're doing a $100,000 USD prize pool for people that sign up to the link down below. There are different rules for this event, which you can check out on the link, but we are doing one of our biggest pools on this channel that we've ever done on Blowfin. No KYC. You can trade from anywhere in the world using Blowfin. So be sure to check it out down below in the description to potentially qualify for $100,000 in USDT prize pool on Blowfin. But of course, let's dive into the market. We've not had much relief in this market for quite some time at this point, and a lot of people were thinking that the bull market is over. I just think that it's on an extended timeline. You guys know this if you watched my previous videos. During those bearish times, I'm really steadfast on my thought process on the way that I think this is going to play out, and I still remain that. I just think with the government shutdown, things were a little bit derailed. We can't count on the same exact timeline, as history doesn't always rhyme, but it does repeat itself. We're in that 4-year cycle, and usually we do see a massive pump heading into late November on altcoins, and I do think Bitcoin is due for a big rally, especially if the government shutdown ends. But on top of that, we are seeing not just rate cuts, which we have seen the last 2 months. Powell has cut rates, which that is step one, right? Lower interest rates is just very good for open spending. But this right here potentially actually brings the bull market back, as Trump says that Americans will get a $2,000, he's calling it a dividend payment, excluding high income earners. And what he's saying here is it's a tariff dividend. Do we really believe this? No. Long term, is it probably just going to end up the same way that 2021 stimulus did, or 2020 stimulus, where it patches the problem temporarily and then maybe makes the problem worse? Maybe so, but at the end of the day, open spending goes into a lot of different things. Risk assets like crypto, or even stocks, which are, inherently risk assets, or they go into forms of, DraftKings, FanDuel, prediction markets, whatever the case is. People have that spending, and they are a little more risque with that because it's a windfall. It's money that they did not expect to have. And as Becker says here, the government is printing again. Rates are going down. That's what we just mentioned here. Every government, corporation, and bank or payment processor is adopting crypto. If your full crypto is dead, that is your thought process, you are absolutely foolish. And it is interesting. The market is in extreme fear, and I would like to say I do think that the crypto market has been in extreme fear, but if this S&P 500 is extreme fear, I would love to see when greed's on the table, because to me, we are absolutely cooking in every other market but crypto. And if we get the rails back on, get the wheels back on the track as far as the train that is crypto and Bitcoin, I think we're going to resume the upward momentum. We are still seeing the biggest players in the world accumulate more and more Bitcoin. $4 trillion, JP Morgan, worth $4 trillion, just disclosed that they bought $340 million worth of Bitcoin. And, Jamie Dimon had traditionally been one of the biggest bears in all of crypto. We saw MicroStrategy accumulating. And on top of that, I love this kind of thought process as well. Government reopening, which we've been talking about, that's a major factor as to why this market has paused. Tariff dividends, stimulus check, every 4th year of the cycle, Thanksgiving pump into a Santa rally before it's all over. Time to run it back one final time. I wouldn't be surprised to see this as long as we see those factors happen, like this dividend actually progress. And on top of that, the government reopening, I think, will be bullish because more ETF approvals. So let's go over the market, what I'm seeing out there, and which altcoins do I think have taken a little bit too much of a hit and could be easy trades to the upside if we in fact do see a market reversal. So just looking across the board, obviously, altcoins got really crushed during this time period. And I think you could spread, and I'm not going to, rattle off a bunch of different stuff to be accumulating. It's really based off your thesis. Right now, people are all in on privacy. We've seen Dash, Zcash, Monero, all doing very well in this current market. For me, I just have my conviction bets, and I'm going to keep stacking those. When I see something like Solana, which did take more of a hit than where it's at now, if we were to look at the Solana chart here, let's just go to the monthly. This thing got all the way down to 152, broke that structure that was really maintaining here for quite some time period. But like we had talked about with ETF inflows, I want the high adoption coins, and stuff like Solana to me is too cheap at that 160 level, and especially at that 150 level. Sol ETFs have seen positive inflows for 9 consecutive days, with the Bitwise ETF leading the way. And I would expect more ETFs on altcoins on the way when the government reopens. Number 2, SUI at $2. That's ridiculously cheap. Let's just look at the 1 month chart here. Right before the cascading liquidations, this thing was at $3. It got back to $3 after 10/10. But then from there, it's got as low as $1.92. It got bought up at that level. The DEXs on SUI just did $1 billion in Perp volume in a single day. We had Momentum go live, which also, let's just go to analytics. This was one that if the market was hot, I think it could have caused a little bit of an influx in SUI season as far as momentum, no pun intended, on the SUI chain. But let's just go here and click on search momentum. Boom. So Momentum opened up at like a $2 billion market cap. Obviously, it launched in probably the worst market conditions we'd seen in quite some time. Probably the most bearish I've seen the timeline since FTX, as we've talked about. I think that if this launched at a different time, it could have actually springboarded a SUI sort of run, like a SUI season. But market conditions and timing didn't really work out that way. But SUI at $2.16, that is absolutely way undervalued based off what's happening, the backers, the team, etc. On top of that, look, perps are the hot topic of the cycle. I don't think you can have enough of things like Hyperliquid or an Aster in your portfolio. And yes, I still do like both, and I want exposure to both for the foreseeable future. We see the fees over the last 24 hours for Hyperliquid. They did $3.3 million in fees, which is double what EdgeX did, quadruple what Tron, Solana, BNB chain did. They are absolutely lapping the competition and proving that hype needs to be a part of your portfolio. Bullish, bearish, doesn't matter. This is getting so much attention, making so much money, buying back their tokens every single day. This is one that is a non-negotiable. Okay, and we look at the yearly chart here. You're looking at discounts upwards of, you got $60 almost on this coin. So you have a 25% discount from where this was trading just right before that October time period where the market took a crap and we had the shutdown occur. So for me, I'm doubling up on my conviction bets. This is nothing new here, but I'm not here to be flashy. I'm not going to delve too deep into this privacy narrative. I kind of feel like the privacy narrative is more so on the back half than the first half, right? With Zcash and Monero, I think they're great. They've been great investments for those who took advantage of them. But if you're coattailing the privacy narrative now, as of today, Monday, November 10th, I would bet against that, right? So if you're not already on those coins, look for the next trade. That's just how it is. We also see Aster here buying back 138 million Aster, which is $180 million on the open market in the last 30 days. So incredibly bullish there from some of these top protocols from a market cap perspective. But just moving on down the ladder into the low market cap stuff, especially with everything going on in the gaming realm, I'm looking for projects in gaming that are still just absolutely crushing our sticking to their roadmap, sticking to their deliverables, pivoting where they need to. And to me, the number one project to be accumulating in this sector right now is XBorg. And quietly, You know, we see 𝗧𝗧𝗅𝗧 up 23% on the weekly chart. So this is bouncing back quite nicely. They have been doing buybacks as well. And then season 12 of their 𝗧𝗧𝗅𝗧 reward program is now live. So if I'm accumulating one low market cap token, it's still 𝗧𝗧𝗅𝗧. And we're seeing the strength turn around. They're actively taking supply off the market with their buybacks. They have the AI initiative. I believe they're going to be doing something with Hyperliquid. So a lot of good things brewing under the surface here for 𝗧𝗧𝗅𝗧. And I definitely want more exposure to that. But that's really, I'm just sticking to my top plays. I'm not going to get flashy, get cute, go chase the pumps on Zcash or something like that. We'll get the next narrative as it pops up. We just saw how strong TAO was, and it's unfortunate if the market didn't, you know, completely turn to the bearish side over the last week or two. I think TAO would be $500, $550, maybe $600, given how hard it was running here. If we look at this monthly chart as well, it's just unfortunate timing. They got off to 527, and then of course the market has just been brutal since the beginning of November. So to me, there's a lot of good buys across the market. You guys know my top conviction tokens at this point in time, and I'm really just sticking to that. And I have liquidity on the side to take different trades. If we start to see upside though, I might start to use some of those stables into some of these different risk on altcoins. And then across the market, there's way more opportunities than just buying spot altcoins, okay? For me, this is something I'm absolutely glued to right now. Today, we had the pack reveal for NFL football.fund. So you can start building your rosters. My packs, I opened up with the team on stream today. I have a lot of stuff like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake May, Ja'Marr Chase, all these different superstar players. And I definitely think this will be a great trade for those who get in early. And if you haven't bought a founders pack, every single day when they launch new players to the marketplace, they still launch at their base value. So there's plenty of opportunity here. The soccer side got up to $160 million market cap. So this is definitely something I'm super excited for in the coming weeks. And I will absolutely be updating you guys. Trades that I'm making, players I think are undervalued. Those will be on our prediction market shows as well to kind of keep those very centered on predictions. This is fantasy sports, so it goes hand in hand in that regard. And just a heads up, last week we gave away some zinc codes for their airdrop, the early access for their upcoming airdrop. This is Star Atlas's own SVM chain built on Solana. They have done so many transactions on Star Atlas. They've done more than singular blockchains on Star Atlas on their on-chain games. So this is a great opportunity for a very interesting and intriguing platform, and I think an airdrop that will be worthwhile. Only one person showed up last week to claim their code. So I'm giving away 4 more codes down below in the description, in the comment section. Comment Zinc to be able to get a potential code, and I will announce the winners on tomorrow's show. But, you know, we are not stupid who watch this channel, but keep it simple, stupid. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not deterring. I have a strategy. I'm more of a long-term player in the markets, and I have really trimmed down the portfolio to only things I believe will be here for the long haul. I'm very confident in that. I'm weighted heavy in Bitcoin, and I have my altcoin stacks. I have my low caps that could absolutely pop. I feel very cozy with where I'm at despite the recent market conditions. And if we see stimulus checks flow into crypto like we saw in 2020, 2021, this could be a pretty fun time period heading in to 2026. So guys, like the video down below. Subscribe to the channel for more. And tomorrow we'll be coming at you with another video. As always, play well, my friends, trade responsibly, and of course, stay bullish, my friends.